Well, now at 6, the water is rising. Flooding threats reach new levels in western Alaska. Some areas already feeling the effects. As you can see, water crashing against piers, rising around homes and cars.
Our weather team has been warning us about this all week, and we are now seeing the effects.
Georgina Fernandez standing by with a look at some of those areas dealing with problems already. But we start with Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry. Talk about timing and what to prepare for next, Melissa.
Yeah, John, Rebecca, we are seeing the impacts of this storm still increasing for some communities as this area of low pressure now pushes north of the Bering Strait, moving into the Arctic and out of the Bering Sea. We can see south of there, those high winds continue across Norton Sound and further south. We're seeing those impacts north as well into areas like Kotzebue and Kivalina, where emergency evacuation orders were issued earlier today as literally the surface of the water is being pushed inland. This is the latest Kotzebue tide gauge, NOAA tracking these water levels, and you can see it has now pushed into that major flood stage, really increasing in just the last 2 hours. We are still working our way to high tide, which will not hit until about 10 o'clock tonight. So those impacts likely to get much worse before they get better here through the night into tomorrow morning. So again, we are still seeing water inundating communities. This is what it looks like in Kotzebue as we're seeing that water pushing underneath apartment homes around cars, and more water is on the way. This is the view in Unalakleet where the slough even has white caps as that water continues to push in. So we do still have high wind warnings in effect for the Bering Strait coast. We also still have those flood warnings in effect. Also seeing some of the high wind extending into the interior, those higher elevations tonight. As for that coastal flood warning, all of the areas you see here highlighted in green are still under that warning tonight. Again, that storm surge is still increasing, even though we are going to start to see those winds tapering off overnight tonight and improving conditions in that regard. Again, the timeline is just getting started when it comes to the flooding, which will continue through the night, through the day on Thursday. So important that folks are prepared for, again, additional flooding overnight. And as that storm surge continues, more residents are having to move away from their home and seek emergency shelter. Georgina Fernandez talked with people there in western Alaska today and to the state about their response. Georgina.
Melissa, this is just a snippet of the view residents in western Alaska have been experiencing today. Evacuations are also in effect right now in Kivalina, where one resident tells me he saw water rushing into the city. Meanwhile, in Kotzebue, residents were also told to evacuate. That order went into effect just after 12 p.m. today. They say people can shelter in place in a safe area. Shelter space is also available at Kotzebue Middle High School. Meanwhile, they are advising people to tie down loose items and move vehicles to higher ground. The state tells us it is in communication with partners like the Coast Guard, National Guard, and Salvation Army. They say they're ready to respond if needed.
We're standing by to support them with any of the needs that may come up afterwards, whether that is restoring electricity or water, helping repair roads, getting runways back up and running, or providing essential goods like food and water.
The state says they won't know where resources will be needed to be sent until after the storm ends and they can see the full extent of the damage. You're urged to have a go kit ready in case of emergency. You can find more updates on the storm live right now on our website.
Well, new snow equipment was unveiled by the municipality of Anchorage today, along with a new snow dump site.
Now, the new site is capable of holding 1 million cubic feet of snow. That's according to Mayor Suzanne LaFrance, who made the announcement at the site this afternoon. Now, behind LaFrance, some of the new snow removal equipment was parked, which includes new plows, snow blowers, and graders. France said that you can track snowplows using GPS in real time on the city's website.
This modernization is a major undertaking, and it will take time. It'll take several years before we have all the new equipment we need. However, I am proud to announce that the first new pieces of equipment have already arrived and will be in use this season, and more is on the way.
Going forward, a new tax levy that Anchorage voters approved in April will collect funds specifically for snow removal fleet. Municipality officials estimate that levy will amount to roughly $3.5 million each year.
The Department of Transportation has secured $41 million in additional funding to continue supporting the Essential Air Service program. It was in danger of a funding lapse during the current government shutdown.
The EAS, it helps air carriers run out of smaller and rural airports that are not profitable. It usually works as a link to bigger airports for things like job opportunities, medical needs, commercial goods. The DOT says that they now have enough funding to last into early November as the shutdown gets figured out.
And turning to election coverage, where after the polls closed last night, we're starting to see the results for more than 20 communities in the state.
We have political reporter Will Courtney at our election desk following as we get more numbers in. Will.
Yeah, that's right. After polls closed at 8 p.m., now we're dealing with the results, and the results we have are unofficial. What does that mean? It means that the cities and boroughs who certify these still need to do that. All at the same time, there are absentee ballots and ballots under scrutiny that also need to be tallied into the results. But while I have you, let me talk a little bit about those results because we have some of them right here. Here are two of the ones I've been watching. It's the Juneau Proposition 3 and the Kenai Peninsula Borough Proposition 4. Now, a lot of these ballot propositions over taxes, these are the two I've been watching that are currently getting downvoted. They have more no's than yays, but when you look at the other propositions, a lot of yeses. Going into the mayoral races, here's our look at the Kodiak Island Borough, the city of Kenai, the Ketchikan Gateway Borough, and then most interestingly, Fairbanks. Now, Fairbanks has had quite a bit of developments when it comes to the Fairbanks mayoral race because David Pruz actually told us just yesterday, the current City of Fairbanks mayor, that he's actually going to be conceding the race. Now, we have the full interview with Mayor Pruz on our website as well. John and Rebecca, back to you.
Thank you. And Election Day is over in the interior. Tuesday night saw Mayor David Pruz, as he said, concede his race to the challenger, Mindy O'Neill, who was leading by 280 votes with all precincts reporting.
Up to 1,450 ballots, both absentee and question ballots, remain to be counted, although both candidates were skeptical that results would shift. However, the city clerk says that a concession would not impact the result of the election if Pruz should ultimately make up that deficit and pull ahead. If that is the case, he would be elected to a second term. Alaska's news source did catch up with both candidates last night for their reactions.
I am so pleased that the message that we ran with resonated with the residents of Fairbanks and that there was a vision painted collectively that Fairbanks can be a vibrant place to be.
This has been a humbling, most rewarding experience being mayor of the city of Fairbanks for 3 years. There's no better job in the elected world than being the mayor of the city of Fairbanks, and I wish Mindy the best.
And after being reviewed by the borough's canvass board, all absentee and question ballots that are accepted will be counted next Tuesday. The election results are set to be certified October 23rd.
Well, tonight, an Alaska's news source investigation examining the impact how many criminals sentenced as juveniles could be resentenced. State numbers show almost 70 Alaskan teenagers have been convicted of crimes, including murder, and sentenced as adults. The resentencing question comes after a 2023 State Court of Appeals ruling. It found that juvenile sentences must consider age, vulnerability, prospects for rehabilitation, also how juveniles are fundamentally different from adults. Rebecca, this, I imagine, has to do with the impact of the Winona Fletcher sentence.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first test that this ruling happened last month after Winona Fletcher was released from prison after she was convicted of a triple murder at the age of 14. Her resentencing was based on that new judgment and meant that she had already served enough time to be released. What we're looking at is Jonathan Norton, though, who was 16 years old. He was a Service High School student when he was accused of killing 29-year-old Dwayne Samuels, who had been shot 3 times while inside this home. Norton, court records say, murdered Dwayne October 4th, 1989.
You mentioned Dwayne. Ralph Samuels, former lawmaker, you spoke with him and his family. Personally, he's impacted.
Oh, absolutely. And those impacts are still being felt by that family. Ralph Samuels is Dwayne's brother. He found Dwayne's body on October 5th, and APD arrested Norton October 6th while he was driving Dwayne's car. Now, Norton confessed, and he was sentenced to 99 years in prison as an adult. According to the Department of Corrections, the former and current teenagers in prison like Norton who were sentenced as adults were convicted on a range of charges, from murder to sex abuse of a minor, assaulting a police officer, to carrying deadly weapons. The ACLU of Alaska says that most likely less than 20 people actually qualify for resentencings based on how many factors there are, including where their case stands in the court system. DOC did not know how many could apply for resentencing, and the Department of Law did not return a request for additional information.
All right, Rebecca Paulsha with the I-Team, thank you very much. You can find the full story on our website and our mobile app now, and we'll have more of the story later tonight on the Late Edition. So 2025 marks 250 years of service for the United States Navy. Initially started as the Continental Navy. We spoke with a veteran from Fairbanks about what it means to be part of this long-standing legacy.
Adrian Peterson has the veteran's journey and how celebrations of the anniversary will continue.
Founded in 1775, the United States Navy has been a crucial part of the military and the ongoing services of the armed forces.
Our mission was basically protecting the sea lanes, keeping them open, keeping them free from pirates and bad guys and all those things.
Serving between 1983 and 2003, Fonger says the strength and longevity of the Navy can be seen in its ships.
The USS Constitution, it was built in 17 something, I don't know the exact year, but it's still afloat today. And it's kind of a testament to the Navy itself, you know. Yeah, it may be 250 years old, but we're strong.
Part of that strength comes from the soldiers that have helped keep the fleet strong as well. Fonger served in multiple roles during his service, but for him, it's the bonds of service on the boats that carry with him.
Every summer I go to Connecticut, seek out my Navy friends, and we hang out, we reminisce.
That camaraderie has been a big part of his service as well as the lessons learned, which he says is a key part of the branch's longevity.
So you reflect, you get better from it, you keep moving forward, but you also keep reflecting. And I think as the Navy moves forward, it's still reflecting back, learning, oh, we should do this, or we can do this better.
As veterans such as Fonger carry that legacy day to day, the celebration of the Navy anniversary will continue nationwide. According to the Navy's official website, those celebrations will also continue for the nation's 250th anniversary, which is next year. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.